There are three ways you can represent a number: standard form, word form, and expanded form. Standard form is when you write the number using numbers. So for example, if I have the number 7,681,243 and 5/10, I would write it this way in standard form using the numbers. This is how you would traditionally see a number in math. Now to write this number in word form, I would spell it out. So I start with my largest place value, which in this case is 7 million, and I would write 7 million. Then I move on to my next number, which is 681 thousands. So I'm going to write 681 thousandths. In word form, you always write your numbers in periods. That means the groups of 3 between the commas, which is why I said 681 thousandths and not 600s, 8 tenths, and 1 thousandths. So my next period would be 243 ones. But I don't need to say that once. I can just say 243. 243. Now in math, when we have a decimal, we say and to represent that decimal. And then finally, I have 5/10. Now to write that number in expanded form, I need to take the digit and multiply it by its place value. So for example, in a millions place, I have the digit 7. And since it's in the millions, I'm going to multiply it by 1,000,000. Now to say that I'm moving to the next number, I'm going to use a plus sign. The next digit I have is 6, and that is in the 100,000 spot. So I'm going to multiply it by 100,000. Then I'm going to use my plus again to separate the next digit, which is 8, and I'm going to multiply it by its value, which is 10, or its place value, which is 10,000. To separate that, I will use my plus sign again, and then the next digit, which is 1. The 1 is in the 1,000th place, so I will multiply it by 1,000. Next, I have the digit 2. The 2 is in the hundredths place, so I multiply it by 100. Then I use my plus to separate it, and I have the digit 4 in the tens, so I multiply it by the 10. Use my plus to separate again, and here I have a 3. So I'm going to multiply it by the 1 because it's in the ones place. And then I still have my decimal numbers, which is a 5, and that is in the tenths place. So to say 1/10, the tenths, I will put 1/10. So the tenths can be represented with 1/10. The hundredths can be represented with 1/100. And the thousandths can be represented with 1/1000. So for example, if I had the number 1 and 675 thousandths, in expanded form, I would have 1 times 1 because it's in the ones place, plus 6 times 1/10 because it's in the tenths place, plus 7 times 1/100 because it's in the hundredths place, plus 5 times 1,000. 1/1000 because it's in the thousands place.